goodness, this event has been way too complicated. The Korg event, way too complicated. Initially, it looked like there wasn't enough points to finish this at all. And then last minute, they updated the blog post so that we can get more points. And an event that's coming up next week, or next 5 days rather, there's an extra 121,000. We're going to go over it in the blog post. But before we do that, I want to say this event is very important. This piece right here can be used on psylocke. This piece right here can be used on psylocke. And it's going to be one of the things needed for a big boy apocalypse. And psylocke is the last horseman for me. And the recent events are too complicated. I've been playing this game for 4 years, and keeping up with the events seemed tedious and complicated. Why does a player need to do so much math to calculate whether he or she is able to finish the event or not? Another thing, why is hoarding preferred for every event? Lastly, the rise up to 750,000 points for the new monthly event seems like too much. Such a drag, and missing 1 or 2 monthly items make sure that you don't finish the event, which punishes the player for missing 1 or 2 days. All of these changes make me want to spend less than in previous events. A year and a half ago, every event made me want to spend because the rewards were intriguing, plus the events weren't this hard to keep track of. Also, milestones shouldn't be a thing. Keep the things pay to win in the offer section so it doesn't motivate players to try to defend the events. And I'm in the middle of a hype train, so there's going to be a lot of notifications going up here. We're doing this live on Twitch. Panza, 10 gifted subs. And Styly, Twitch Prime for 5 months. We're going to have fun with it. So, here's the thing. I mean, it's kind of garbage, and it's so complicated, they couldn't even get it right. And then they had to update the blog post just to finish it. So the part that got changed is the solar flare events, and they redid the math, and they just updated a couple minutes ago, 121,000 points, which will go towards this right here. And I did the math, and as long as I get the dailies, it's really tight, but it looks like I'll barely be able to finish it. So we're gonna do that. Okay, let's read the blog post. There's a lot of good things in the blog post, and I'm glad that they're able to fix it. But it's just kind of annoying that the event was so complicated they couldn't even get it right, and then they had to update it at the last minute. And then this blog post also talks about next month's Korg event, which is also just unnecessarily complicated. Now let's go over what to hoard. The Shooting Stars event, which is going to have that 121,000 points that they just changed. Haven't done the math on it to see if it's easier or hard or not. We'll have to find out. Blitz battles, spin power cores, of course, right? And then Shooting Stars orbs. And the Shooting Stars orb is going to be awarded in the Asteroid Action Web milestone, which is going to be on the web store for spend ISO 8 campaign energy. So let's get this. You're going to spend ISO 8 campaign energy. You're going to get Shooting Star orbs from that event on the web store, which is going to give you points in the Shooting Stars event, along with blitz battles and spending power cores, which will then funnel back into the month-long of why an event on the web store that feeds into another event that runs during the week that feeds into the month-long event. It doesn't need to be like this. It absolutely does not need to be like this. Cosmos coming in the game on the 28th. Adam Warlock legendary event. We're gonna have a Dark Beast Blitz. Then we're gonna have some other events and some tie-ins with Into the Spider-Verse 2 movie coming in. And then there's gonna be a secondary event for spending campaign energy and power cores. So I think that, you want to save your ISO 8 campaign energy. Like, for example, right here, I'm saving these right here on the strike pass so that I can use that for the event that starts next week. And then you're almost always going to be hoarding regular campaign energy and power cores. Just goes without saying at this point. And now lately they've been alternating between training material orbs and gold orbs. So like today, there was an event for training material orbs, which we just opened up, and then probably in a couple weeks from now they'll have a gold orb. So and that really stifles my progression when you're kind of forced to open things and hoard everything. And not spend gold, and you got the daily it's kind of annoying. Let's get into it. So we talked about Cosmo, we talked about the solar flare event, on how there's a web event that feeds into this event, which feeds into the main event. 121,000 points. Be sure to hoard your ISO 8 campaign energy. Now get this, Korg event for next month is going to have all of this. Could get up to 130 character shards. And here is a list of all the events for next month. Anyways, they are staying in tradition with there's a leaderboard, and the leaderboard is tied to the top people. Will be getting the T2 level 5 ions, which is going to be the primary bottleneck for getting a big boy apocalypse. Stone, cold spores, spiders. We're spending power cores, so that's spiders, and power cores is spores. Spending your campaign energy, and then we're just gonna skip past all of these events because it's like a blitz event. This is kind of cool right here. Pride Month kickoffs. They're gonna be able to get banners right here. I know for me, I just went through and changed my banner to the blue banner. You click on the item there. Some people asked if what was going to happen with Saudi Arabia and Savvy, and whether or not they were going to continue doing things like this in game. And it's hard to say what their intentions are and the way that it works. There was an interview with the CEO of Savvy from March 24th, 2022. And basically, Saudi Sovereign National Fund, allocated $39 billion to go to this Savvy group, which is ran by Brian here. And $5 billion or $4.9 billion of it went to buy Scopely, which is Marvel Strike Force, or part of it, right? So there were some questions, it says, from the employees from an esports company that they bought like a year ago. It says, during town halls with workers, he noted, we got all kinds of tough questions like this about LGT. I never can do these right. LGBTQ rights and the safety of Wyndham in the kingdom. His answer to all of this, that Savvy will operate within the values and culture, what we know our audience wants and our audience respects or expects, I'm not sure, and what those of us who have been in the business for 25 years like about our industry, being forward-looking and liberal in many respects. So I'd love to see how this plays out. I can speak to the people that I've interacted with at Boundless, and the people that I've interacted with at Scopely, the actual people that designed the Marvel Strike Force game, that they are very much involved, and it's genuine. It's not just about making money, but I can only speak to that. I don't know anything about what's going on with the Saudi Sovereign National Fund other than what that press release from like a year ago. Mojo's Mayhem next month, the RT event is going to be Firestar. We're going to get the Dark Beast, and Nova is going to be going into the Red Stars, and my understanding he's going to be Dark Promotion credits. And then character availability, this is kind of a big deal. Spider-Man 2099 is heading into the Cosmic Crucible store for 600 Crucible credits. And so what that is this store right here, and it's this gold currency right here. And if you have an abundance of that currency, then you'll be able to get like 15 shards a day because the store resets 3 times. And I think that is pretty fantastic. I know I've got like 138 out of 300 of that. And that is it for the blog post. Now let's get to the regular stuff that's going on. A lot of people save their raid season milestones, which expires on Sunday. I went and had collected all of mine because if you do not collect them, they just disappear. So I don't think there's any reason to not collect these now. I don't expect a surprise event to show up now between now and next Sunday. And then also a couple times this week, there's been some strange offers inside the store. And this is from the developer for Apple App Store Review Guidelines. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that we've had some issues where odds are not being accurately displayed in game, but they are on the website. A lot of people brought up that, certain countries may have laws about this, but I think Scopely's mostly operating off of the rules provided by Apple. Apps offering loot boxes or other mechanisms that provide randomized virtual items for purchase must disclose the odds of receiving each type of item to customers prior to purchase. And I've notice that there's been 2 issues this week, specifically not doing that well. None today, but not great. Now, this is something interesting. So yesterday I went over the Nova overloaded orbs. So you can get some of those orbs, 12 orbs, from getting 1.1 million. We're going to talk about the Nova event because it's kind of tricky also. And I believe the numbers that I showed in yesterday's video were generous. This person right here opened 12 Nova overloaded orbs, can't speak, which give the awakened ability materials for Nova. And there's 3 different sets of them. Each requires 200 basic, special, and passive. They are war offense boosts. And in their opening of 12 orbs, they got 0 materials. $100 worth of gems, and they have an offer right now, which is $100. So my math yesterday in calculating that, I thought it was going to cost somewhere between $400 and $500, and maybe it would take 4 or 5 passes of the event to get the character up and running. But after seeing this information, and then my also personal pull, which I didn't get that many at all. Like I got through the 1.1 million in the Nova, and I barely got any. I think I got I wrote it down. Had one person in chat had 160, one person had 134. This person on this post got 0, and I think I had 60 on my personal. I have to go back and look at the footage. But anyways, this right here is really just cracking. I mean, they're thinking you can get $1,000 out of it. And there were some assumptions that we made also that, because you need 200 of each, right? And it shows the three materials right there. Well, what if you get a bunch of these and none of these? Because they're useless. They're not worth anything. Once you have 200 of the one for the passive or 200 for the one that's for the special, they're completely waste. And then if you don't have any of these, you have to keep buying it. I mean, I was making an assumption that you were going to get 200 in equal amounts, and that it would take $400 or $500 or 4 or 5 runs. Maybe the actual math is closer to $1,000. It's trash. Yeah, it's trash. Another day, another reminder. Incursion compensation. Yeah, where's the 1.8 million? Blue ISO 5. All right. I'm going to read this post, and I'm going to try to be helpful, because I do agree that the Nova event is fixed. It's even more awful. So, if you're able to get the 1.1 million, which is not easy, it's not easy. After that, it's just straight leaderboards. So, I kind of thought this event was going to be borked, and it wouldn't really matter, because if it's hard for you, it's hard for me. It's just borked for everybody. But that's not true, because there is a leaderboard, and getting to 1.1 million is kind of a thing, because that's where you're going to get the $100 worth of those orbs that give the awakened abilities for Nova. So let's just read this post, and then I'm going to offer some suggestions to maybe make it a little bit easier. This is what being evil as hell looks like. I haven't clicked this yet. Let's see. Let's click it. Maybe it's... Yeah, look at that. Oh, no. They are like 340 short of... They removed the pack that grants full speed bar and energy to all the bio characters, and configured the mode in which such a devilish way I cannot even do a 1.2 point, and whereas I got 1.5 in the previous one. The point is not an issue in ranking if everyone have the same issue, of course, but not hitting the 1.2 makes you lose the orbs in the picks. Exactly what I was saying earlier. Certain nodes were only beatable since the node was bugged. Yeah, the pact was bugged. The bio pact was bugged. And bio characters were getting 4 or 5 turns at the beginning. And when that's taken away without dropping down the difficulty, we get ruined on each of the nodes, maybe except for the first node. True. I used Death Seed easy. Double Echo Retaliation was awful. Double Gambit is awful. If you grant characters the CC abilities, the double Titanium node is awful. If you do not, then your Master of Evil, except for King, is hot garbage. I agree. When you turn on the CC abilities or not, double Nakia, double Vermilion Black Panther are horrendous. No node starting with 5 or less enemy is not cool. You get just 5, 6, 7 enemies at the beginning, and most of the time 2 people just ruin you. Scourges would ruin certain characters, but you had tons of choices. You could either discard the Scourge or the ruined character, instance, being on the block, the character got stunned, so I would not use Captain America or Young Avengers, whatever. However, in this event, if you turn on the buffs, getting cleared each turn and getting the heal makes your Ultron useless. Yeah, and I did not turn that one. I'm going to share what I did because I was able to get through it. Absorbing Man is already not great, and replaced with him with Quicksilver, but who are going to replace Ultron with? In Scourges, the secondary teams would provide you certain buffs. However, the power curve between Master of Evil X Factor is so huge that if I run my 6 Red Dead Bros just die in the first turn, and I'll explain what I did with that, they cannot survive the Gambit retaliations. I'll explain what I did. Removing a pack makes us lose points. Should be compensated, you can see, by just 340 points. You can lose the rewards. Okay, so here's the thing. I followed Dorky Dad's video. Link to Dorky's Dad video will be in the description. And I think running packs and running the packs that are here makes a big difference. Your results will be entirely different. Turning off all the packs doesn't necessarily help you. You need the packs because the packs are different than Scourges. The packs affect your characters and the enemy's characters. So difficulty 8, running every single pack except for power dynamics. It's the way to go. And it really comes down to Masters of Evil. And I'll just give you an example of like that double gambit. Basically, X Factor. So I ran X Factor with Absorbing Man. I took Absorbing Man out and ran Quicksilver. So basically, I ran X Factor with Absorbing Man and ran the node over and over and over again until I killed one gambit. And then I was able to go in with this and get through it. So it was kind of a pain, but I was able to get a score of 1.566 million. Other people had different results, like Roix on Rafts. I hope I said your name right. I have a 1.25 million score, and my Moonstone Titanium were only level 80 and Absorbing Man level 75. So this person right here ran this, and my understanding is that they ran full Masters of Evil. They did not sub in Quicksilver like I did. And they were, with this particular Masters of Evil, able to get enough points to get over the 1.1 million threshold and get the Nova Orbs. Now, the other thing, too, a lot of people say the City Heroes is a pain. And I agree with that. The City Heroes is absolutely a pain. But the reality is this. Cloak has a 20% chance. And there's a weird world where they only target Cloak. And Cloak only and dodges, and you can run the node 1,000,000 times until that happens. And yeah, and somebody is going to be willing to run it more than me and get a perfect score, because if the enemy continuously targets Cloak and Cloak continuously dodges, you can make it through the node. It's garbage. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Morgan Le Fay event. So it is what it is. Let's get through the rest of the offers. This is going to be one of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These offers usually get worse, but this one's reasonable enough if you need gold and training materials for $3. Then we have this calendar right here. And we're going to get into this calendar one. Now, it's $100, so that's pretty steep overall. I'm not going to be purchasing this. And the reason why I'm not going to be purchasing this is because I need gold. And I don't really need gear. If this had gold in it, that'd be fine. Now, it's true that these orbs do give gold. These are the Dark Dimension 6 orbs, and they do give gold. There's also quite a bit of gear tier 16 and gear tier 17. A lot of people will be purchasing this just for the Elite 6s. There's 3 Elite 6s in here. So this is a definite heavy spender. And for me, if it didn't have training materials, it had gold, or if I knew that I was going to pull gold from these Dark Dimension 6, I might personally consider it. But from a Boomer Bucks valuation, getting 3 Elite 6s and getting a bunch of 17s and a bunch of 16s, in some weird world, it might be worth $100 to some people. All right, then we have the Valorous Value Ageless Hero, and I do not like the way that this shows up when you click this. If you go to the web store, you can see that there's equal chances of this, and this. And I think a lot of people are looking for, character shards for Captain America World War II, but then this right here It is what it is. I'm not going to be purchasing it. And then lastly, we've got an energy offer. This is worth about $2.50. Then you got some red stars, just silver promotion credits. And then this is gear tier 17. So what do you think about all this? I think the main takeaway here is I'm glad that they fixed the event by adding the 121,000 points in next week's event. They're way too complicated. Even their math is wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments section. As always, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming. Bye for now.